In this episode, I want to explore my own discovery of this concept. I think I was initially exposed to it through economics, and it may have been in an episode of Freakonomics or another podcast, but they proposed this regret minimization model for making choices. And honestly, like, I found it very interesting and powerful rather than like trying to maximize utility, whatever that means in the economic sense. So there was regret theory, which was actually developed in 1982, which honestly is something very interesting and something that I want to dig into more. But I think the way that most people have heard about it, if they've heard about it at all, is probably through some Jeff Bezos interview. And then in this interview, he's talking about his decision to go and found this internet bookstore called Amazon, which obviously everyone has heard of. But he went to his boss, and his boss essentially asked him to reconsider when he told him he was going to leave and say, "Hey, you're already successful here. It seems like a project for someone who is not successful." And Jeff Bezos was successful, but he decided to take the risk because he thought about himself in the long term. At 80 years old, would he regret not trying this and making the decision? And that's very powerful for a few reasons. One is, in order to minimize regret in the long term, you do need to think from a long term perspective about especially big decisions, but also potentially little decisions. And then, second, this is something that I mentioned earlier. I'm a very big proponent of taking small risks relative to where you are. Like, and while it may seem crazy to try to found this internet bookstore, and it's a huge idea, and that's not really a small risk, the fact is Jeff Bezos was already very successful at his job, so he had probably had plenty of money in the bank and plenty of runway. So if this didn't work out, he could come back with his tail between his legs, or maybe proud that he tried, and he could come back to another successful job somewhere else. And when you think about it from that angle, this wasn't that big of a risk, and it obviously paid off for him. So I think those are two really important points. And that kind of gets to the topic of why I decided to name this channel Minimize Regret, and why I think it's such a powerful framework for making decisions. One is because it's a very rarely searched topic, and so that means I think there's a lot of potential to kind of have this new topic come up and be eventually gain some sort of traction as people adopt this as a way to make decisions. And so I think there's a lot of potential, and it's very niche, which is kind of exciting to me because it's a concept that maybe not all that many people think about, and if more people start to think about it, maybe they can improve their lives. So I really see potential for it to grow and gain traction, whether it be on YouTube or articles or wherever. And so, like, I think it's really cool that I'm a person that's talking about this regularly when it's hardly talked about by anyone. And so, I don't know, it's kind of like a little bit groundbreaking because now I can frame my future decisions in that mindset, and I don't think all that many people do that. Although they may do it implicitly and not explicitly, but that's another topic for debate. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you next time.